Yay, we back, Lou.
We are back. Hello, everybody, and really happy to be back as well.
I know, me too. I think let's just give everyone an explanation on where we've been, shall we? Yeah. So, first of all, we are headed to court, guys, and obviously this is really new territory for us. We've never done anything like this before. We know we are going to be under attack with mainstream media and all other things. So we've had to take a little bit of time out to actually assess the situation, pick our battles, which ones are worth fighting, which ones are worth putting the energy into, and it's brought us back to this platform.
It certainly has. It certainly has. We've always had like a lot of support here. And well, yeah, we just, and obviously we've met a lot of people on Wake Up UK or through Wake Up UK that, we've got a lot of respect for them, and they've been really supportive of us in our campaign as well. So,
well, yes. They were the first people to really give us any platform, wasn't they? We were Absolutely. Guests with Dave Simpson, and we were invited to stay on for the shows after that. And for me personally, I've always been. There's a lot of institutional abuse survivors on Wake Up UK, and that's where my heart has been for many, many years. So for me, the first time on as guests was like meeting the Kardashians a bit for me, And like you said, the support we get, the respect, and this, like even when we don't think we have many viewers, we go back and now people do watch our shows and they ask for us to come back as well. So that's at least somebody likes us, Lou.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I just want to wish everyone a happy new year as well. Like, obviously we haven't seen everyone for quite a while, but it's 2021 has gone now, new year, and hope you're all raring to go, because we certainly are, aren't we, Kim? We're raring to go this year. We sort of set the foundations. Yeah, we set the foundations in 2021, and we've built our organisation to a point that we've, got many followers. And 2022 is where we're really, really going to be taking action. So the court case is the big thing, isn't it, for us?
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. And there's going to be a lot of work behind that as well, guys. We're not expecting great results. We haven't even got our exact case ready yet, because there's like some difference of opinions on things like that. It needs to be right for us all moving forward, But it is going to be a big case. It's going to be costly. We do have a legal team that are fully supportive of us. Quite a high-profile barrister as well, Before I even knew this person, I've seen stuff on the news, and he's been the barrister for that. You know what I mean? So lots of human rights cases he's been involved in, and we don't really want to say names until contracts are signed, do we, Lou?
No.
Because the thing is, the problem we got here, guys, is we are actually taking on the government, and they are not going to like that. They're going to want to cause so many problems to A, stop us fighting, and B, rinse us if they can, So a lot of thought has to go into it. A lot of thought goes into the structure of the organisation. At the moment, we're community-based, So there's things to consider of the legal structure going forward as well to protect ourselves. So a lot of work is going on behind the scenes, and we want to do it right. We want to make sure everything is right, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah. And when it comes to the court case as well, it's almost like we want to make sure we get that right, because it's sort of our one chance, isn't it?
It is our one chance. It is our one chance in the UK. What we've seen in the past, we've seen lots of people fighting policies. I've been following this since 2013. And what we've seen is people fighting policies. They get little victories. Then this legislation comes in. And what we've got in Wales is this legislation for sex education from age 3 with no parental opt-out. A massive issue with that as well is the government is saying we'll have plenty of say, yet they've legislated to take away our say completely, not just by removing our rights, but by removing a consultation process as well. So that's in the legislation. So we've got a really tough game here, but we've got to do this, guys, because if we can do this in Wales, they will follow suit around the rest of the UK. So it's a matter of creating case law, that the rest of the UK can follow. And if we can actually do that, we will be the first in the world to achieve it, and we will make history. And there's no two ways about that. And I am hell bent on winning, no matter what it takes. Lou, what about you?
Absolutely, yeah. We're just not going to stop until we win. It's disgraceful what they're bringing in. It's absolute. Well, they've brought it in already, haven't they? It's there. It's already there in many schools. A lot of Welsh schools, and like in the UK, they've actually already been informed that this RSE is being taught. And we know that the way the media portray it as well. BBC did a report on it. And, of course, they're not going to really tell you what it's all about, because there would be uproar with everybody. But, they make out that it's for the good of the children, because children are watching porn as early as 11, and that's the only place they're getting their sex education from. And, because of this, they need to be taught by the schools from age 3, because children are thinking that sex is violent. And I know you've got something to say about that as well, because they really, really do sort of go on about, children thinking it's violent, and that's not right. And of course, as you've stated, Kimberly, that
that's a big issue. That's what you're talking about there, Lou, is my thing on the training, that everybody's led to believe that sex abuse is violent and it hurts, when that's not actually the case. So everything is quite contradictory. And the point of porn, Lucia, that is not actually our problem, is it? It's not the school's problem. I think it's the government and the big tech's problem. Absolutely. So, they can remove that in the click of a button. I did a search. This is going off topic a little bit, but I just give you a perfect example now. I did a search, myself and Kath searched for a celebrity's ex-wife the other day, and we could not find that person on the internet. We know that person's been removed on purpose. So we know, that the porn is too easily accessed, and the government can stop that. We've got a follower as well, another lady, and funny enough, her name's Kath. And she's well into this, and she works around the team of health visitors. So she's done some additional qualifications, and she's put together a presentation. And in her presentation, she makes a very valid point. And where we get our phones and we have to put additional locks on and things like that, these phones and these devices should come with the locks automatically on them. We shouldn't learn how to lock our devices. We should need to learn how to unlock them. So that isn't our problem. That shouldn't fall at the hands of the school neither.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And sort of saying that, what following on from what you said as well, a lot of parents aren't really highly that technically minded as well. So having to sort of go into their children's phone and make sure that all those, everything's like switched off and that the children aren't getting the adult content. Now that's going to take quite a bit for a lot of parents, isn't it? So, some will not even know about it.
I really haven't got a clue with technology, and the best I've been able to do is when the children, they both had an Xbox. I had back then, it was a Windows phone, so everything that came through the Xbox came through my phone. And when they had the PlayStation, then I had to get myself a Sony Xperia. That was the only way. Really, that might sound technical to some people out there that's not very good at tech, but that was the only way I could actually do it, was by changing my handset. Because I did not, I didn't really know anything about it, and I still don't now. I am just really lucky. I've got a fantastic relationship with my boys, and the oldest boy is tech savvy. So he shows me what to do, even though he's got the power to undo it. As you know yourself, Lou, my boy is an open book. So, he likes to shock people. So if there was any concern there, I'd know all about it anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely tech savvy as well. Not taking after you on that side.
Definitely not.
But there's a lot of work to be done on the top level. Like even when you go, into the social system, it all needs a revamp anyway. The way things have been reported, or the avenues for it to be reported. We know that there's a lot of work to be done on those levels. So, suggesting that children should learn about this sex education early on in order to safeguard themselves, which is something else, we've heard as a pro-sex education, is absolutely ludicrous. Because if the adults can't get it right, then how, what are we expecting from our children?
But this is, I have got a huge issue with them saying it's safeguards, and it's sexually safeguards. Well, this is just my field, and I have asked teachers to point out actual barriers to disclosure in lesson contents. So a barrier to disclosure is something that prevents a child from telling or showing signs, because a disclosure isn't always verbal. It can be in their actions and things that they do as well. So and the teachers can't even pick up on that. Another thing as well, to actually sexually safeguard a child, it's a specialist field. Okay, it's a specialist field, and teachers are trained to teach. They're not trained in perpetrators of abuse. They're not trained in models of offending. They're not trained in barriers to disclosure. They are not trained. So it's unfair to put this responsibility on them for a start. It is wrong of teachers to assume they know it all. And on the flip side of that as well, then, we have got a high proportion of teachers who sexually abuse our children. It's a fact. It is a fact. Now, there's a recent report written by the Independent Inquiry into Child Sex Abuse. It was published, let me see if I can get this right, might have been published April 2021, okay? So it's the Truth Project. Look it up, give it a quick Google. You will read in there that sex abuse in our schools is, and this is a quote, right? This is not me, this is a quote from that document. It is an open secret. With 43% of children who are being sexually abused at school aware of abuse happening to other children. We're also being told that schools are an area where disclosures would happen. Again, that is false. So we got teachers being trained to look out for familial abuse, interfamilial abuse, which is abuse at home, right? But disclosures, most disclosures happen at home. We've got something like 4% of disclosures, 4 to 7% of disclosures for males happening at school, and something like 14% of females disclosing at school. You flip that on the other side, and you're up in the 40s and 50% of disclosures happening at home. So again, the disclosures are not happening at school. So that's another fib. So they're being trained and told about intrafamilial abuse. Well, intrafamilial abuse crosses with institutional abuse. These people work in an institution. So that abuser, if they work in that institution, which is a known fact that they are drawn to these roles, where there's children, there's abusers. That abuse does not stop at the gate. The teachers aren't being taught this either. So there's a lot going on there, an awful lot going on there, which needs to be addressed. And the only way we can address that is by properly educating people. So there's a lot of problems going on. You know, we're not attacking teachers. We know all institutions are a place of child abuse, okay? All institutions that's got children, even institutes with adults as well, vulnerable adults, I mean, there's abuse there. But we just look at the ones with children now. So that's sports institutes, schools, religious institutes, it goes on. You know, it's not uncommon. But why aren't these teachers told about it? Why is the policies telling them to familiarise themselves with the families? So these policies don't exist, and the training is simply not there. You know, so and this is it. So it's not just an attack on teachers, and you know, we can't go saying they're all abusers because they aren't all abusers. But also, you've got to look as well at the weight of responsibility placed on these teachers on a complex, sensitive, taboo issue. You know, it's a hard subject to talk about. So if you've got a really good working relationship with somebody and you've been in that staff room with them for 10 years and you hear a rumor about that person, you're quick to dismiss it because your brain simply doesn't want to accept it, doesn't want to believe it.
Yeah, and that's just human nature anyway, isn't it? If you're, you know, like if someone says something about someone close to you.
Yeah, and these are the things that we need to understand. Adults are manipulated and groomed before children. So safeguarding needs to begin at adult level, not at child level. Children need to know simple things like no. Just a plain and simple no. No one touches this area, it's private. You know, exactly. When a child gets to a certain age, if you think about it, a toddler becomes very independent very quick. They want to do stuff themselves. And we are like, no, I'll do it just to get them done quicker. But think about it. Children are washing themselves very young anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have to be very old before an adult doesn't have to touch them, you know. So these things can be instilled very early on. If you don't want anyone near you, it's no full stop anyway. And that goes for the holding of the hand and the hugging. So you don't teach consent for that. You just say if you don't want it, it's no. There's no negotiation with no. You know, and these areas are private, nobody touches and nobody's allowed to look. Because looking is also a form of abuse.
Yeah, well, of course it is. And even giving information to children or showing them images that they shouldn't be seeing, that's a form of abuse as well. Because, you know, like once a child sees something, they can't unsee it. It's the same as, you know, when we see something, you know, it's there in the brain then.
It's non-contact sex abuse. And yes, she's in the back. So guys, we're going to cut now straight from you. We're going to flip over to Mandy. And the reason why we're going to flip over to Mandy, I didn't want to introduce her early on because I noticed she had a migraine. And I thought if she doesn't come on now, I didn't want to build up people's hopes and then thing. So Mandy, I can't pronounce her surname, but I'm not even going to try. Mandy Scotland. She is incredible, guys. And as you all know, we have been taking much of our lesson contents from the Scottish curriculum. So I'm going to bring Mandy on now because Mandy is a little powerhouse. Hello, lovely.
Hi, you're breaking up to me.
Oh, are we breaking up?
Can you hear me okay, Mandy?
It's all breaking up unless I go out and come back in, maybe.
Yeah, try that, go on. Okay. You're fine. So yeah, guys, I met Mandy when Sandy did the event of the UK Warriors Unite in Scotland. And Lou, you couldn't make that because you was doing the 3 Peaks raising money for court. But it was fantastic, and she's coming back in now. So this is where I met Mandy, and Mandy is a little powerhouse. Let me bring her back on. Is that better?
Yeah, I'm on a good episode. It's just my boys want to.
Okay.
Cheers, that's me much better.
There we are, brilliant. Welcome, Mand.
Hello.
Welcome, Mandy. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. I'll turn that big light on. I see still. There we go. That better, yeah.
So, Mand, this is Lucia.
Hi, Lucia.
I've heard a lot about you, Mandy, a lot of good things. So I'm very excited about meeting you tonight.
Thank you.
So, guys, Mandy's just a warrior in Scotland, and well, I'm just gonna give it to you, man. Right. So, Sandy has a show before us, so a lot of his viewers know you and know about your work. Our viewers won't know, okay? Because this is going to be premiered on YouTube tomorrow. So, you tell people what you do up in Scotland.
So in Scotland, God, it's been a nightmare. For 2 years now, we're campaigning to raise awareness about the dangers to our children, grooming gangs, the Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry, we're paedophile Scottish Government, and just trying to make people aware of the dangers, what's really happening. In Scotland, they think it's just a safe wee country. Nothing happens here. This stuff doesn't go on, and it's really bad, like really bad. I
think what struck me when I came to Scotland was the stories, because as you know, Lou, in these kind of events, it's different to ours. Ours is all education and about the system, but when we go to the others, it's all survivors and things like that, you know. So it's always hard hitting. But what I found interesting was the amount of murders that's going on there, and the parents, they can't find their kids.
Children, 27,000 missing children in Scotland since 2018. So that's 4 years. 27,000 missing children. That's a Freedom of Information request. And I'm like, where are the 27,000 parents out shouting, where's my children? There's children go missing constantly. There's a wee boy just now, he's been missing since May. Went to college, never been seen again, 19 years old. The death rates when we're young is shocking. They're getting groomed to sell drugs. They're becoming addicts really young. Nobody's aware, especially during lockdown. Like, they were all heading into the city because they're not allowed to sit in anybody's house, lying to their parents about where they're going, sitting in parks, getting out their faces. Nobody's got a clue what the kids are taking. And then they're vulnerable to predators who know they're all sitting in the parks. So they then get hooked into, obviously they're giving them drugs and shit for free. Nothing comes free in this world.
No.
So basically they believe they're getting it for free, and then that's where this child sexual exploitation comes in. There's massive grooming gangs in Scotland, untouched and unexposed for 11 years now. 11 years, the same grooming gang operating. The police are refusing to touch it. Nicola Sturgeon says it's a myth. But there's thousands of survivors, thousands of girls out there that are like escaped them and telling you they're real. It's a bit like how bad it is in, was it Rochdale?
Yeah.
Like we have an Asian grooming gang 11 years now. Our government's scared to prosecute them because of racism. They're scared to expose them because of the racism. But they're driving about in taxis, they've got takeaway shops, they've got news agents, and this is where they're getting all the children in, especially during lockdown, because nobody's aware of where the children are even hanging about.
Well, I got a confession to make you, and this is a reflection of the education system. Obviously, I'm a criminologist, and child sex abuse is my passion, it's my thing. But it was only a couple of years ago that I was on Facebook arguing with somebody saying that Asian grooming gangs didn't exist, right? And I hold my hands up. And he told me to get a book called Easy Meat. So, and I'm one of these people that if you say, have a look at it, I'm going to have a look at it, you know? So I did. I bought the book Easy Meat, and I cross-referenced everything that was in there. And it was correct. There was convictions going back to 1987. So it wasn't just Rochdale and Telford. This was down the south of England. But do you know what? It was reported in the local newspapers. So do you know you had the local newspaper? And this is what I looked up. So we had the copy of the local newspaper in there. There was nothing in the national news. You know, so it was just literally, everything is kept within counties.
Yeah.
And people don't know what's going on in the next county. You know, we're led to believe, like, even these borders between us, you know, Scotland, Ireland and Wales.
I know, it's like we're totally media banned just for across the border.
It's insane. It is absolutely insane.
How are we supposed to protect our children and keep them safe if nobody's aware of the dangers out there? And
if nobody at the top level want to do anything about it, you know, you saying that Nicola Sturgeon is saying that it's a myth, you knowing for a fact that the police are not, they're not doing anything about it. You know, they're just left to run wild and keep sort of doing this.
Sadly,
that's where the problems are.
The police in Scotland are a part of it. That's the major issue. The police are involved in it all. The police in Scotland are so corrupt. They're like the biggest criminal organisation, and it's the police.
South Wales police are as well. South Wales police and Essex police are really. I've got a friend who's done double his tariff for murder, and South Wales police won't release the evidence to show that he's innocent. You know. Mm-hmm. But because they just picked him up for he's out now, but he served double his tariff because he wouldn't admit to something he didn't do.
I'm smoking a ciggy, sorry guys, because that was.
It's okay, guys. It's all right. This is Wake Up UK. This is a free for all on you, girl.
I'm not good for you, but
we're the more reserved group. We are, we know. We're the more reserved.
Wow.
So I just feel this is I'm trying to expose the whole of Scotland because I feel that Scotland's a paedophile base for the whole of the UK, that we protect them here, that when like your elite paedophiles have to flee, they come to Scotland, our laws protect them, our people protect them, all our system protects them. When I done a lot of digging 2 years ago, you all have heard of Robert Greene.
Yeah.
So I was obviously trying to re-expose Holly Gregg.
Yeah.
And the shit I came across, that's when I realised, like, Scotland's in deep. It's like...
Let me just tell Lucia and everyone who Holly Gregg is, or if people don't know. So Holly's a Down syndrome girl. She was abused by her father and his family. Allegedly, I gotta say allegedly, because obviously things were backfiring me. So Holly had allegedly said she'd been abused by the father, the family and friends and things like that. And they've all pretty much tried to make out that the mother was mentally insane, the mother made it up. And so that's Holly, guys. So that's who Mandy's talking about now.
And not only just Holly Gregg, the same paedophile ring, another 3 girls along with Holly came forward that they were abused for children as well. But these people were like teachers, lawyers, judges, social services, and there was physical evidence. Everything that Holly said was backed up by doctors' evidence that she had been sexually abused and raped since a young age. There was not one prosecution. It just all get totally silenced. Holly's family get targeted. Holly and her mum had to go down south and live. So I looked into that, and the people, and they're still there trying to expose it, and I started getting targeted. But I realised it's because they're all involved, the politicians, the judges. That's why our laws is like a revolving door. You get a paedophile arrested and they get out in bail. They come back out the next door in bail. And I'm like, my son assaulted a paedophile, assaulting a wee girl in town, and he got a 12-month community payback order. And it was his first ever offence. But yet the paedophile never even got charged, never even got arrested, didn't even get investigated.
No, do you know why? Because they're all people of good character.
Oh.
They've got no records at all. They've got no criminal records. There's nothing on. There's nothing on there might be some on the PNC check, but they have to go on the phone then to listen to that. But there is never nothing on them, and this is what gets me. Like, people assume that because they're DBS checked that they're safe. They would never have allowed the DBS check if it was a real safeguarding tool.
Yeah,
if our DBS check was a threat to a paedophile, they would never have allowed it.
No, it just means all that means is they've not been caught.
Yeah.
And
this only exists in secrecy. But yeah, like there's a lot of connections with Wales and Scotland, Mandy, loads and loads. Like our children's commissioner has come from Scotland, and she came, I think it was 1996 or 1993. She's I think she's a professor or a doctor of social work, She's never stepped foot in a housing estate in Wales. So she went straight to Cardiff Uni. Now she's the Children's Commissioner. She's been the Children's Commissioner for 7 years, I think. So I did a little survey and I sent it out and I asked people, who's your Children's Commissioner? Who's your Child Minister? Nobody knows who she is. Nobody knows.
She's been in that seat for so long, in that position.
So she's come from Scotland and she's been parachuted into this position. There's been £1 million investment in Scotland into decriminalising sexual activities with a young person, which is aged 10 to 24. There's a connection to Swansea in that as well.
Yeah.
Our education minister was quoting Scotland for our education. I've even got academics that I've been studying myself. Oh, they think the sun shines out of Scotland's arse.
Just because they're good at protecting paedophiles and pushing paedophile agendas. The SNP was the worst thing that ever happened to Scotland. Everybody believed that they were going to save us and they were going to do this and they were going to do that, and literally they're just the paedophiles come in the back door basically and pretended and gained everybody's trust. Like you were saying with the sex education and stuff in Scotland, it's horrific just now.
I know.
I thought when you came and did the talk, I was already on it, but it hadn't actually came into force in my schools yet. It wasn't starting until the 1st of September there, like before it was getting pushed in. A couple of schools, like kind of private schools, had, but we don't hear about that. We don't hear about them testing it out and stuff. Wasn't until I looked right into it. And I don't know if you have seen that sex consensus online.
No, I don't think so. I'm not very. If you put a document in front of me, oh yes, this questionnaire.
Yeah, is that what Richard Lucas was talking about as well?
About 22 local councils have approved it. 8 have went against it and said it's inappropriate. But this is just an idea of the questions, and they're saying it's for 14-year-olds. It's not. It's for 12 first year. So that's a questionnaire that all the local councils in Scotland feel that it's fine to ask your 12-year-old. When I looked into this, though, I'm like you, I go into everything. They're doing all this to our children to experiment and gain research. And it's for the United Nations. It's a massive research. I've looked into who can view all this stuff because I thought, well, who can see this? So anybody gathering it, which is the local councils, can view it. The IT staff who are processing it into the computer can view it. The Scottish Government can access it at any time they want. And the Scottish Government have gave a list of all the information they want of our children. I've got a list of it. I'll share it with you sometime. But the children have got an identification number. I didn't know that. It's like an 8-digit number. All children in Scotland. We have an identification number. That's what the Scottish Government want. That ID is a child. And then there's a list of, if they want to know your children's sleeping patterns, who your children stay with at the weekends, who's the close family members, what their eating habits are. You name it, they want to know about your child since they're 5 years old. And this is a questionnaire for 12-year-olds. Have you had vaginal or anal sex, penetrative sex more than once? Yes, no, or prefer not to say. People have varying degrees of sexual experience. How much, if any, sexual experience have you had? And then there's a list here. None. A small amount, kissing, some intimate touching on top of clothes, some experiences but not sexual intercourse, touching intimately underneath clothes without clothes on, more experiences including oral sex, vaginal or anal sex, or prefer not to say. When was the most recent time you had vaginal or anal sex or penetrative sex, and did the other person use a condom? This is for 12-year-olds, an online questionnaire that's just getting fired out without parental consent through the local councils. Your children will receive that through going to log into their schoolwork or whatever. And the only reason it got highlighted was through children showing their parents, should I answer this?
Yeah. Well, it's getting children to think about sex as well, isn't it? Like, encouraging them more, and it's disgusting.
It's drawing attention to it. So you found out because a child didn't know if they should answer that question or not.
And they asked, it was actually their dad. Their daughter took it to their dad. She was staying with her dad for a few days. They're back and forward with mum and dad, and she was in her dad, and her dad he sent it to me. He was going absolutely mad.
You know, this is how absolutely everything has come out. This is how the
But the thing is, like, see this?
can come out, and that's through a parent.
What about this? My most concern is, like, you're right, there's no safeguarding for our children anymore. There's nothing. What about children that have been sexually abused when they were younger? Raped when they were children?
I didn't think about that.
And then they get hit with this questionnaire. Have you had anal sex? There's nowhere to write, yeah, but it wasn't consensual, I was raped. Yeah. So how's a child feels forced to answer these questions? How's
they will feel obliged.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, well, I did, but it wasn't consensual. But there's nowhere they can put that in. So then what if that child's going to feel like they're being raped again?
No. What if this child is still going through abuse?
Exactly.
Exactly. Where does that put their heads?
And I'm like, so, and if they have started to recover, then, well, they're going to just feel like they've been raped all over again.
Well, the thing is, if we go on in 10 children being abused and we got 30 in a class, we're talking at least 3 kids in each class, at least.
Yeah, and that's child sex education that they're bringing in, the RSHP, it's called in Scotland. Usually you've looked into all that. That's just insane. They brought it in, and it's the same in Wales with the curriculum of excellence.
Do you know where it comes from?
So they brought it in Scotland in a curriculum of excellence. Yep. See, in the Scottish teaching documents, there's a link to. So there's no teaching materials in Scotland. With just the teachers are told to use what's out there, what's available in the United Nations, and all these, and it gives you links. I've got all the links to all the websites, YouTube.
No, they've got 100 lesson plans.
And the Scottish government have written in, it's like a big document, I'll send it over to you. They have written in, so the teachers have to use all the materials and learn to teach it their own way, like create their own subject for the sex education. They've also been asked, there's a link for UNISECO and the Scottish government document to UNISECO and the World Health Organization to have a look at their teaching materials and their guidelines and their structure and stuff, and to try and incorporate it into education. Then there's a part in the Scottish government documents that say, we encourage you to try and incorporate it into all subjects like science, maths. So they're giving them a wide range of resources, and the teachers are basically to pull it all together and use what they get away with, basically. What they actually will get away with teaching children. And again,
we were just discussing this before you come on. Now, there's a large proportion of teachers who are paedophiles.
Yeah, of course.
It's a fact.
Well, there's one in that I showed. I take my thingies when we're talking.
There will be people having sexual gratification just by sitting at their desk.
And I don't know if you were aware that the Scottish government also made it legal as of 3 months ago for children 4 years plus to change their name. The Scottish government forced this upon teachers, told the teachers not to question them and not to tell the parents. So they actually signed a contract that the children are allowed from 4 years old to change their name and their gender and use a different toilet in school, and the teacher has not to question them. Children have imaginations, massive imaginations. Yeah. Like, they're going to mess up the minds of your kids that they'll get to an age that they've made all these choices, and then they'll actually go through puberty and have feelings and be thinking, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? And we've a wee boy, Jace. This is just about to get brought into his school. Jace was raped. Jace was sexually assaulted and raped when he was only 3 years old. Now he's only 5. So if they start talking about sex to a primary 1-year-old, primary 2, that's going to trigger. Jace he's already wetting himself and stuff in school. I'm allowed to say Jace, and doesn't mind me putting the story out there. But they're really concerned if the teachers start talking about sex. He's only a baby still. It's going to resurface all the counselling he's had and how far he's came. It's going to just trauma him, re-trigger him, and make him relapse. And then what about if he discloses a man put his penis in my mouth to a classroom full of 5-year-olds? How are the children then going to, like, because he's innocent, he might just feel that that's his cue to tell everybody. And then he's left so vulnerable with children laughing at him or bullying him. And I'm like, this is insane. It's horrific.
That's terrible.
Well, I've actually put this question to a teacher, to be honest, and I've said, obviously, I know kids don't disclose usually until adulthood, and I've asked them, I said, so what do you do with the children that's been abused? Oh, we take them out of the class. I said, how do you know? How do you know which one has been abused?
Exactly.
You know, if you're not reporting into adulthood.
There's children in these schools every day that are being abused every day, and they're silent. They still don't even know they're being abused.
No.
Because they're children. So it's just, to me, it's just a big sick. It's just sick as anything. It's just absolutely sick, and it's frightening. It's experimenting. Because when I looked into the stuff like you did, the UNICEF and all through the Scottish Government documents, it doesn't say sexual rights, but it says your child's right to an education, your child's right to an education. It doesn't actually say a sexual education yet. And there is still, in Scotland, we can still opt out though.
But they telling you to go to UNESCO, and in UNESCO is telling about the sexual rights, you know. If part of their sexual rights, if they have HIV and they don't feel comfortable disclosing, they're allowed to have sex and not tell anyone. You know, that's part of their sexual rights as well.
Oh my God!
Their sexual rights is their right to be administered medication. Well, Lou, you heard Mandy now saying about the law changed 3 months ago. I'm going to get a leaflet that I had printed July 2020, and it was information from your country. And I'll go grab it now. And that was about the 4-year-olds and the trans. And look how far we've come since this. And it was your information I had it from. I get it now.
Yeah, this is, you know, almost like the thing with the children can make that decision at 4. It's absolutely ludicrous because I've got a child myself who's gone through, like, you know, she's my daughter. She's gone through, like, what we used to call it tomboy in our day, didn't we? You know, where she'd want to wear a football kit, but that's fine. You know, if she wants to wear whatever, you know, football kit, that's fine. It doesn't mean that, you know. And if someone had come up to her at 4 and said, "Oh, do you want to be a boy?" and had all this education, maybe she would have thought that, you know, because she likes doing boyish things. But, you know, we know that the children
should have the right to explore. The children have no rights. They're slowly taking away all their rights. Even President Putin said what was it called? Called them the monstrous West, sexualising all the children. These are literally, it's against human rights. I said, can we get Putin to come? I know he's not that great, but can we get Putin to come and deal with the UK government?
Yeah, it's definitely better than the clowns we've got up there at the minute.
Yeah, we had these leaflets done July 2020, Lou, and obviously
because I used your leaflets to make one similar, but obviously looking at the Scottish, just putting the Scottish stuff in.
Well, our information, we took stuff from Scotland, and I remember taking this from the Scottish Times, okay? And the waiting list for transgender intervention in 4-year-olds had increased by 80%. So that was July 2020. So when did they change that law? A couple of months ago. They got it about
September 1st.
This is how fast things are going. So in
September, they brought in the RSHP, they brought in loads of shit. They brought in everything that came with it. They brought in everything except rights for our children, our parents. Yeah. It's like they're just taking your children and doing what the fuck they like with them. And you have no say on it. See, like they did in Canada. The only difference is Canada, they forced them into residential school all week. Well, here it's like almost if we behave ourselves, you can still get them home at 4 o'clock. But you need to let us do what we want, basically.
So are you aware of Kinsey, Mand?
That's the only one thing I haven't looked into yet. A lot of people have said that, the Kinsey report, to go look at it.
We've got the actual book. I haven't got it here right now, but the original book, someone bought it and sent it to us. It's like £200 on eBay. It's down Crafts at the moment, but in that book, it's got the tables. The Kinsey Institute is now advising UNESCO. The Kinsey Institute is still getting this data, right? But they're obtaining it through a mobile phone app now. So there is an organisation called Stop the Kinsey Institute. There has been laws passed as well in states in America back in the 90s to say if they used anything from Kinsey's work, they would get done for it, basically. So that we got that case law as well. But yeah, this does come from Kinsey, and it is based, the science is based on abuse of children. If you go on our YouTube channel, PCP Wales, I've done a video on the history of this sex education, and I got the evidence coming up on the screen. In the links is the is in the description is everything. So it's the documentary, Kinsey's paedophiles, the people that work for him, they honour themselves, they laugh. Every time they mention the word paedophile, they laugh. They laugh about it, you know? So yeah, look on there, man. It's but this is where it comes from. And they are now top advisors to UNESCO. They actually write this alongside CCAS. CCAS came off the back of the Kinsey Institute. So we really are in, we really coming full circle with them. Their job is almost complete. They've almost done it, man, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, I know we'd already came a long way with the sexualisation, with like the TV programmes, children want to wear makeup when they're fucking babies, and it's just sickening. I'm like, why do you want to dress your girl up as a woman? It's not right. It's just let them be children.
And that's what it's about. You know, we're actually on the cusp, and the cusp, this is the death of innocence. This is the death of innocence.
That's what I'm trying to, like, it breaks my heart. I said, like, what you aren't realising is you're never going to have another innocent child ever again. Yeah. Children are only innocent as long as you keep them innocent. They've got their whole entire lives to be adults. We need to fight for children to be allowed to be children. We need to fight for our children's innocence to be protected, because it's sacred. A child's innocence is sacred. And they're fucking just ripping it apart, like ripping it away from them, just to suit the paedophiles, just so they're sexualised for the paedophiles. There's another question with the sex education I've asked the Education Minister. So when children become curious, they're going to want to experiment. People are just telling them what to do and how to do it. I don't know, where's my... We've got, I don't know if you've got the same stuff in Scotland, but they've been asked to look at this, and
it's exactly the same.
Shows the two women. Yep, so it's all the same information. It's all the same stuff that you can pull from wherever. YouTube, there's a load of sites.
It's on the same multiple languages.
This is what Scotland's going to go with, as these. Well, some of them have went with it, and it's just absolutely sickening. So I've made a book up and I put it all in there. But what was the whole point there? I was going to tell you about something.
Yeah, but the thing is, guys, we can stop this.
Mm-hmm.
We can stop it. We're taking them to court, but we're not going to necessarily get a win. It's like 60-40 in their favour. But we can stop this without going to court.
Yeah.
All we have to do, like, it doesn't matter what happens.
Is get the masses to say no. It's not on.
It's all we need is the same group of, there's a small group of people in every area that does the work no matter what. We just need all those people to come together and bring one city to a standstill. Yep. And that's all it's going to take.
Yep, that's
all it's going to take. You know, surprise, and it has to be a surprise.
And then as soon as you bring that city to a standstill, you've got the media attention. Then the media knows. But sadly, that is the only way we'll get media attention, because they own.
Yeah, we have to bring a city to a standstill, and I think we have got. I think what we've discovered now is we've got the people that are willing, proactive. They're ready for action.
Yeah,
you know, it's not going to take millions from Scotland and millions from Wales and millions from England. It's going to take a nice group of people, and we can bring one city.
Yeah, people that are serious and they're not going back down, and they know what they're talking about, and everything they speak about, they can back it up. So what can they say? I mean, we're probably between us all get more qualifications than the whole government. And I'm like, so why are we taking their shit? They don't even qualify to make these decisions.
They won't face us, though. Our education minister, they almost got away with it, right? They almost got away scot-free. And it was a newspaper. If I didn't know about this education from 2000,
same for me, because I don't have any children in school just now. Like
for me, it was just an article online, and when I could see they removed your parental opt-out, I knew what was happening. But you know, they almost got it through without anyone knowing a single thing. We started banging our drum. The education minister, she's gone. She didn't even stand in the following election. She went because she knew We said, we've gone through the process, man. We've gone through the petition process. We had enough for our debate. We got to the petition committee, submitted 17 pieces of evidence. They didn't look at one piece of evidence, not one.
No.
So, you know,
we've already signed all their contracts and their deals.
Oh, yeah, on the 1st of March 2017, your government, our government, UK government, and Ireland, they all did it. The only thing we don't know is
they're getting held over the barrels, like Wales, you've not produced it yet, where is it? So we had lockdown. I still believe we went into lockdown for them to fuck all the children's education up.
Yeah.
Because how other way would they have done it? Like, we were all distracted and the children never had any education, yet it was so important to bring them back and start teaching them about sex, and we've just been through a fucking pandemic.
Exactly.
Our children's minds are already all over the place. The parents are so distracted, they've not got a clue it's going on, because they've got other things to worry about. They're just glad their children are back at school and they've got time to get shit done. They didn't notice. No parents, the same in Scotland, they didn't notice it coming in. If it wasn't for yous coming when you came with Sandy and I was already still on it, I stayed on it, then people wouldn't even have known their children were being taught it right now. So,
well, we one of our members, Rachel, she's from Scotland, and one of her family members in the beginning said it was all lies. Now she's saying, "Oh, Rachel was right," you know. But it's because they tripping it in, school by school, town by town. People just aren't aware.
And the thing is, people are going about the sex, like Scotland, given the LGBT, they gave them £1 million to lobby for. It wasn't directly just to lower the age of consent, but it's in the consent in that world thing that was signed, the declaration. It is in there. Adolescence is under the World Health Organization. It's 10 to 19 years old. So it means a 19-year-old can have sex with a 10-year-old.
The one I read,
sexualise all our children. It'll be the children that change the laws, because they'll be going, "You've taught us how to do something, and now you're telling us we're not allowed to do it." It'll be the children that say, "Well, let's get the laws changed. We want to have sex at 10."
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is where they're clever. They've lowered the voting age in Wales to 16.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They've already introducing this education. Well, you know, if they can vote at 16 and they can do that, then they can do it at 15. And if they can do that at 15, they can do it at 14. And it's,
I found a document not that long ago. It's disappeared. I've got it printed off somewhere, but thank God I did. They've took it offline. But I found a document just about 4 months ago, and I was looking at so like, what age can you get? Like, obviously, because they won't say what age is it, like, at the lower age already. I was thinking, is there something going on that I don't know? Is it already, can you have sex and not get into trouble, like, not tell your parents in Scotland already? And I found something that was 12-year-olds. So 12-year-olds can get, like, you can go and get treated for sexually transmitted diseases and that without, as long as the partner is under, the other partner's under 16. So as long as both of you, so it's 12 years old already, because you can get an abortion, you can get an abortion, you can get sexually transmitted diseases, and that's at 12. You can get treated for all that without having to disclose it to your parents, as long as you have a partner who's under 16 as well.
Well, with us, there's the confidentiality. So there's been a lot of serious case reviews on schools arranging abortions for children without the parents knowing. A lot of these pregnancies are there because of teachers.
And the care homes as well. The care homes where the children are getting raped. It allows them to be able to arrange abortions for the children without anyone knowing. But the thing is, it's absolutely disgusting. That's Sandy.
Yes,
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
How are you?
Brand new. So how's my wee Welsh lovelies getting on, especially Mandy there?
Mandy's Scottish, Sandy.
It's breaking up. Your Sandy's breaking up again.
He's asking how you're getting on there. Can you hear us, Sandy?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear us, man?
I can hear every one of you.
I can hear you okay, but Mandy said you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, she'll come back in now, she will.
Happy New Year to you, Sandy. Lovely to see
Yeah,
you.
the same back, love. The same back.
Oh.
I heard Mandy talking about Robert Greene. Now, the late Robert Greene and I, we were the best of friends along with Jane. And it was Robert. I owe that man my life. He gave me the courage to speak out. He gave Jane the courage to speak out. And he was involved in the Holly Gregg case. And it's just quickly here I want to say, Robert Greene, we were sneaking him into Scotland at one time to speak. This was before I knew Mandy and stuff. But we were sneaking Robert in to speak at conferences and various stuff and sneaking him back out. But Robert went up to Aberdeen and he was caught up there by the police. And Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmon had him jailed for being in Scotland. Now, little Holly Gregg, I've been doing this case a way back, years and years. Holly Greene, it was the neighbour that offered, I think it was £100,000. Holly Gregg, little Holly Gregg, the neighbour offered her father £100,000 to sleep with Holly. And this is where this all stemmed from. It got so bad that Holly and her family had to move down south, not saying where.
The Scottish government murdered their uncle as well.
Well, Holly and her mother moved down south and they were sitting in the house one night and the whole front window exploded, shattered. A bullet was put through the window. A warning note was given. Stay silent. This is what happens to us when we speak out. Now, I started speaking out about Nicola Sturgeon up here in Scotland, and Nicola got her wee monkeys to contact me and tell me if I keep speaking out about Nicola Sturgeon, bad things can happen to me, like they happened to Willie McRae. Willie McRae was an MP up here in Scotland, and he was going to expose. I knew Willie because I worked with the SNP many, many years ago when the SNP was the SNP. We had everything going for us. Sturgeon sold Scotland out. She's a traitor. And I call her out any time to meet with me. I see Sturgeon on television hugging, cuddling, supposed to be survivors, warriors of child abuse. No, wrong. And I'm going to make this clear. That is rent-a-crowd mob. That's who's coming in, choosing actors to play the part of victims. Yeah. She cannot lie in that. She cannot lie. And I'm letting this be known. I gave her a chance to meet with us, to meet face-to-face with Police Scotland and sort things out about the children here in Scotland that was getting abused. Give them justice. The children of the past who were abused in care homes like Jane and I. What does Sturgeon and Co do? They come out with an act to prevent us from taking our abusers to court. But we found a way around about it. And this year, this starts a big year for Jane and I, because we're coming after you, Sturgeon. You had your chance. We will see you in court. You
get him, Daddy boy.
Yeah, we'll be right there beside you.
I know that. But
you better be
I'd like to give a special wee thanks to yourselves, girls, for coming up here to Scotland.
Oh, we're coming back in a fortnight, in a week.
Yeah, and we're coming.
I'll be with them this time as well.
Yeah.
Yes, we got a bigger team this time. There's 5 of us this time. We've lost Rachel this time, though.
Ah.
And Rachel's Jane's favourite as well, Rachel is.
Happy New Year.
But,
Happy New Year, Jane.
But we definitely are coming down to visit you on the 30th of April. But,
and Mandy,
what we've done.
Keep doing what you're doing, girl. Yeah. You're a credit to us.
Oh,
Yes.
Don't you worry, I'll never stop.
just to let you know
They
a wee
might
bit
make me
about
ill, but
Mandy
I'll
and
get
I
back up.
before I go. A few years ago, Jane and I were talking about, I mean, we're getting on in years, we were talking about what happens after us, because child abuse will go on. What happens after us? Who will be there for the kids? And we heard about this event in Glasgow, and Jane and I went up and we met Mandy and we laughed. And that day, we knew.
Oh,
We
you make me
knew.
cry.
Aye, we knew we had that. We found that. And Mandy and Lana will become friends, will become family. They're part of my family. That's it. They're their wee daughters and that granddaughters.
Nana and Pops.
That's that, you know, bugger. That was a thing that Mandy and La started. Papa and Nana Bear. You know, to George Square. Papa.
We need a Nana and Papa Bear. We need cheese.
We've got more family than anything else, but we know now that it will continue. Mandy, you're a credit girl. And I mean that from my heart.
That's
You're a credit for what you're doing. And especially
use it an
you
inspiration.
are, and everyone else who came over to that graveyard when we held our first service for the 338 little children that Quarriers Orphan Homes, who the Scottish Government also gave a large donation to, and we'll find out exactly. We know that the Scottish Government gave Bernardo's £58 million.
Yeah.
That's £58 million.
And I've got it there now.
Taxpayers' money.
Wait, I'll show you, Sandy.
It's a donation.
Wow, yeah.
To help cover the cost, but it was to help cover the cost and the expenses.
I've got that many letters for the Scottish Government.
The children that was abused in the
I just
past.
write to them when I'm peed off.
I'm not being rude, guys. I'm just checking the chat because they're having a little chat. We've got quite a bit
I'll let you go on with your show, girls.
going on in the chat tonight, there is.
I can't see it from my end. Is it because I'm not on the admin thing, is it?
No, I've had to put it on the phone, Lou. Come on now. I haven't got the skills to be doing that. That's why when either Sandy or Mandy was saying something serious and I turned around like this. I was crying on my phone because Jason said, "Oh, you haven't broke the internet yet." So that made me smile. I turned around like, "Oh, somebody's saying something serious." I'm like, "Ah."
Difficult to multitask sometimes, isn't it? Concentrating on answering questions and listening.
So we've got who we got. So we've got Spear Thrower in the chat. The biggest child abuse going on, worse than the GGs. It comes from the government, of course it does. We've got Wake Up UK. We've got Coleman Archant. He's just been on with you, Sandy, yeah?
Brilliant, man.
We've got Roy Pierce. We've got Lisa. We've got quite a few in there. Jane. Spear Thrower. I said Spear Thrower. Right, you know, Phil was in there. Yeah, Phil is in there.
Oh, Phil Watkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I checked the
hello everybody, thank you for watching.
Yes, so guys, I don't know if anybody knows, but Mandy's got another event on the 22nd of January, and that is on George Square. What time is that, Mandy?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. and we are going up to support them.
Yay!
And I can't wait. So we got
I've been to Scotland before, so I'm looking forward to that.
We got going, and we are coming to work for you, Mandy. So we are coming up. We know how much our accent attracts Scottish people, exactly the same as the Scottish accent turns heads down here. We are there to pound those streets for you. So any leaflets, anything you want us to do, we are there to use our voice, talk to people, whatever you want us to do, we're there. We're obviously there to gain support for us as well. It's a UK fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we are there to work with you and just get out there and do whatever you want us to do. We are there. You've got 8 of us.
Thank you so much.
Well,
absolute diamonds. We'll make sure Scotland hears us that day. I'll get loads of leaflets and shit print. I'll get loads of stuff printed for the day.
Do you need us to bring anything?
Just yourselves.
Is it okay for equipment and stuff like that?
No, nothing at all. We're
Right,
fine.
all right.
We've got
We
everything.
also
Just yourself and your own stuff. Like bring your own stuff to get it out there, and we'll get it out there as well. Like your own promotional stuff and your websites and stuff. We'll
how
get
are you managing for leaflets and stuff like that? Have we got a good supplier?
good, and we'll try and get we've got the whole of the UK together fighting this fight for our children.
We have to. So your leaflets. Have you got a good supplier printed them out for you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because we found somebody on eBay that does. Was it 10,000 Lou for £114?
Yeah, it was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
£114. Yeah, it is.
That is really brilliant. We've been
And
doing
we're all
ourselves those 4 years, and we just split it.
Yeah, so whenever if you like use us for contacts as well, we need to use you for contacts. This is a UK fight now.
Yeah,
it is a UK fight. We can't let those borders. These governments have been split just to split us.
Just divide and conquer.
Yeah, the Welsh and the Scots are under attack because we're the strongest. That's a fact. Yep. That's why we're in suppression. That's why our children are under attack. That's why we've got these postcode lotteries with our kids going into care.
Yeah.
You know, there's we got the most beautiful countries, but we've also got the darkest countries as well.
It's terrorism. They're absolutely terrorising us.
Yeah, they are. And this is what people don't. The people don't understand that when this education comes in full pelt, what's going to happen to the problem parent? They're going to be facing the social services. You know, so they're going to be going down this whole path, and they don't want to be going down that route. Because when they go down that route, they're going to really feel it. Because like you said, it's a right to a child's right to education. We keep getting told this is the child's right to education.
Mm-hmm. What about a mother's right to protect her children?
Exactly.
And what about a children's right to be innocent?
Well, you know? Exactly. And the children's rights to not have their minds corrupted. Although that's shit they can't understand, especially this gender stuff. Children will just imagine that they would rather be a boy and that's it, they go with it. And then they've made choices at the schools enforcing stuff on them.
Yeah.
So by the time they come 10 and 11 and they'll be like, I'm a girl and I want to be a girl. What the fuck? What's happened? Why did nobody protect me? Why did nobody fight for me? Why did they allow them to do that to me in school?
And it's not just the children and their imagination. And we need to remember there's a big proportion of parents out there that want to feel welcomed and loved as well. So there's going to be my mother. I would have been Keith. If this was 30 years ago now, I'd probably be Keith. And my mother would love that. My mother would love that attention, you know. So it's not just the children and their imagination, also these parents as well.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot. Our children are in a very dangerous situation, and we do need to act, and we need to act properly. But we're in contact with Dr. Miriam Grossman from America. She's done us a presentation on the sex education for our country. She's also got 2 gender presentations ready for us as well, wasn't she? Yeah. We just need to give her a date. So we'd love you to join us for those as well, man. We open them out to everyone we do. So we'd love you to join us for that. It'll be live and we'll record it. But we'll also give you her contact details as well if you want, because she's done so much work on this. She's written books and it's just good to get ahead of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Family Watch International?
No.
Right. Subscribe to Family Watch International.
I'm going to write that down.
They've done all the work for us. Every single thing that's happening all around the world is there. They send out newsletters talking about that, right? They are Family Watch International. Get subscribed to them. They do fantastic webinars.
Brilliant.
And things like that. But and we're gonna join forces with Stop the Kinsey Institute as well.
Great. I'll be in there.
Yeah,
100%.
We've got this is a UK fight now. And the thing is, we've got people as proactive. So we've got Sandy, we've got Brian Clare, we've got the Blair brothers, all people that have actually achieved something. Do you know what I mean? And we've got the right people, I think.
They've won some fights. Yep, definitely. Well, I was going to say something there on that.
Have we got anything you want to say, Lou?
Well, do you know what? Like, I just wanted to say just what you said about Miriam Grossman as well. Like, the first time, like, meeting her was really interesting. So obviously she's been following the sex education in America has been going on for years. And what really sort of brought things to her attention, realizing the problem, was she was working. Was it a school nurse or something? I can't remember exactly, but
she's a psychiatrist. She is. So, and it was a university, wasn't there?
That's right. It was in the university, and what she found was she was getting a lot of students coming in with mental health issues, and it was really sort of like centered around the fact that a lot of these children were getting, were having sexual experiences far too early, and the information that they were getting as well from the education system, it was almost like they encouraging children. And she was saying, especially she's getting like young girls coming in with all these issues. And she just like realized how bad, obviously we do know how bad it is for youngsters to be involved too quickly. So that's where it's interesting, isn't it? It's meant to be, this education is meant to be empowering them and helping them, but in fact it's just making problems even worse than what's already there. So it's Miriam Grossman's brilliant. I absolutely very much enjoyed. She even sort of like went on to say, the physical damage that can be done to children if they are involved in sexual activity too early on as well. So she's got a lot of knowledge, and
she's written a brilliant book, and it's called "You're Teaching My Child What." And in that book as well, we'll speak about Kinsey and his mate Pomeroy. And in there is a little paragraph that she'd taken from their work where they want to address the last taboo, and the last taboo is incest. So this is very much where we go in, man. But what I keep saying to the girls is, imagine these people now, right? So we got a photo of these people, a genuine photo of these freaks around a table together.
Mm-hmm.
Are they smarter than us? No. Are they braver than us? No. Are they better than us? No. Are we scared of them? No. So remember how it started, and remember who's going to finish it.
Yeah.
Our table.
The only thing is they're in positions that are more powerful than ours, and they have more money. That is all they've got.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Forget about the 50 years in the middle. It started with a bunch of degenerates. Yeah. It can finish with a bunch of cults.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Passionate mothers out there, right? Fighting for their children's innocence. I want my children to be allowed out to play, and my grandchildren, I've got children. Yeah. I want to change this for my grandchildren. I want a world where they're safe again, where they can play freely, where they don't have to worry about what people are teaching them. And I can't even bear to think about having grandchildren just now.
I know. We're the same. My boys are older teens. Is there anything there? You're right, Kim. It's a UK issue that needs to be put there to awaken the public.
It's really, we're saying it's a UK, it's actually a worldwide issue, isn't it? That needs to be, just needs to be sorted everywhere. Because
this is it. This is CSE. It's Comprehensive Sexuality Education. That's what it's called. And they changed the names for our countries to make us think we're all different. We're not different.
No, it's just
the same contract. They signed the same contract. They're not going to be driving a different car.
It's the same contract, it's the same resources, it's the same teaching resources they're using, and it's the whole same thing.
Yeah.
It's all come from the United Nations and the World Health Organization, hasn't it? So, they're all getting their information from there. Like America, like I'm seeing videos all the time, the stuff that they're teaching there now is just like, I wouldn't even teach that to adults, it's disgusting.
And what I'm really worried about? There's stuff in the Scottish government documents. So I know, bearing in mind, they want to get research on this stuff, and going with Unicycle, you'll know about that, Kimberly. They've got the 3 main stages of development, and it's 0 to 1 years old, then 1 to 18 months, and then the next part to 3. So they're saying that's the most important, that's the big key development stages for children and babies, but they want to introduce this sex education into that age, although it can't in a public school. But what about the nursery schools? I'm thinking in Scotland that they do take children in from 0 years. Are they going to be practicing a certain...
Right.
Well, because the children can't speak yet, so...
If you look at our website, there's documents there going back to 1998 where they started this on age 0 to 5. And what's it called, Rich? It's called, no, isn't it called Right from the Start? Something like that it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
It comes from California. If you want to know where we headed, look at California and Texas. So they did this study in California, and it was in nurseries, it was in little play groups, and it was right from the start. If you look at the World Health Organization document, they say sexuality education should begin from birth.
0, I've seen that. It's from birth. Yeah.
So as soon as they get their hands on the kids, they're going to be
experimenting,
collecting them,
and
there's no other way of
research and sending it back to the Scottish government for it to share with the whole United Nations.
So we need to. Is there anything else here? One world government. It's the same filth, pushing the same filth. Yes, it's all come from one place. But what we've got to do is we're trying to encourage people to hold teachers accountable as well. So we're sending them. What we'll do, man, we'll sit down with you, right? We'll because we've put a letter together, and obviously all the links are in there. We've asked questions, and it's relating directly to our documents, So we'll have a look at Scotland and do the same for you. And we've asked a series of questions. And if they can't answer those questions, which they should be able to because the evidence is there, they're negligent. They are negligent. They get reported. It's as simple as that. That goes for the teachers, the school governors, the councillors, anyone. We have to hold individuals account for this. It's their job to make our kids safe. And if they can't be bothered to read and answer the questions honestly, then, and this is what we need to give people the confidence, we need to empower them. You need to drive it forward like that now. Somebody's got to be banging a drum somewhere.
Yeah, and that's what I've always said. It's like when we help support people and stuff, we're not there to do everything for you. We're there to show you how to do it, to help you be able to do it yourself.
And that's what it's about as well. Because we've had...
Give you the confidence to tackle.
We've had support from people, like some counsellors and things like that. They haven't read it themselves. So when the heat is turned up for them, then they can't even hold their own, and they come back to us like 8-9 months later to fight their battles. No. You should have read it.
Yeah.
You don't support us for this. We know now that they supported us just for the sake of it. If they didn't read it, how can they expect to hold their own? It's important people see this with their own eyes, because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and nobody can convince you it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
And that's the way we have to
once you can't know anymore. It's like you can't bloody sleep at night, because I'm just like, oh, these poor children, and they're so innocent, and they're just sitting there, and like you said, your paedophile teachers getting a kick out of it. And I thought, where's it going to all lead? Is it going to be like in first year, like say 10 years down the line, they're all sitting kicking back with popcorn, watching porn with their teachers?
Yeah.
Like seriously, because that's where it's going. We already had an 11-year-old, a mother brought to one of our demos about 3 weeks ago, because she'd heard us saying that they're going to give them links to Pornhub, and they already have done it in Scotland. That's another thing they haven't told the parents. Her boy was 11 years old, and it caused a war in their house because it was homework to bring home to log in the home computer, and it's obviously a special link that gets them on. It's not like just straight. It's through YouTube, but it's a link to Pornhub. And then the wee boy was like so upset. His dad was going mad. The uncle got phoned at a family meeting, and he was like, "I promise my school gave me it," and they didn't believe him. They were like, "No way, your school gave you a. How did you go on that? We've got like the privacy on the internet. We've got this. We've got blocks." And he was like, "It's a promise." And she was like, so she came to say, like, "You're 100% right. My son's school gave him a link to use in our home, and we have other children, like smaller children in that house." So what if you left the computer on and went to the toilet, and the 5-year-old sitting watching Pornhub? Not even only that, Pornhub has links to like Snapchat and all the things that you can create a video and make your own video. What if a paedophile gets them on there and says, let's make a video?
How dare they do that? How dare they? You know, it's absolutely Pornhub is disgusting. Most adults don't want to be watching that. Why?
Because they're saying that basically this new sex education programme will teach them everything they need to know, but by the time they're 11, they'll be that set up, there's nothing more the teachers can teach them, so that then if they have any questions about sex, they just go onto Pornhub and ask. As long as they're not looking at stuff that's illegal and basically.
Well, that's illegal in itself, isn't it?
I know.
For 11-year-olds.
Well, you're not allowed to, you've got to be 18 to go onto a porn site, and they're giving it to an 11-year-old. That's a paedophile. And your child, then they're sitting in classroom, and that paedophile teacher knows all the images your child's seen. I'm like, it's so frightening. It's so frightening. And then the children, when they're sitting telling, like that booklet I've got, it doesn't take a genius to work it out. If you're sitting showing a child that, where is one of them? Like they pictures and saying you put a penis inside a vagina and it should feel nice and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, your child's going to be imagining that image. Like, they're putting the images in your children's minds. So,
it's like a banana.
They're looking at that boy and thinking, he's got a penis, I've got a vagina, and I'm like, I can't cope with any more of this. Does yours look like that picture they're showing you? I'll wait there till I pull my pants in and show you.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
Anyway, so...
And then you've got, it's just sickening. And then what, they get so curious that nobody will actually show them how to have sex. Well, I'm sure there'll be a paedophile out there that will say, I'll show you, just don't tell your mum and dad. So,
But the thing is here, they are doing that. Richard Lucas was on about this, so was I when I was talking in Glasgow that time. And they're teaching kids, and it's with a banana and a jar of Nutella.
Yeah, I've got that.
And they're telling, this is kids at primary. They're telling them that only 46% of women has tried anal sex, and they've got this banana and a jar of Nutella. Showing the kids.
No, that's
showing them.
That's just what paedophiles do. So, and they're saying
it was Richard Lucas that pulled this up. And on the video, when he met with John Swinney, the woman at this thing was going out live, and this woman's standing, and she's going, you can't talk about that. She was ready to fly out the window.
That's it there, Sandy, but I don't know if you could even see it that way.
Aye, we're going out live.
We're
going out live. We're going out live. You can't talk about that.
One of them, the snippets,
that's what I want to talk to you about.
It's in the frame. Pornography is to arouse us. It's to get us sexually excited, and that's great because using your actual imagination is hard work. And as long as you approach pornography with understanding of what you are looking at and enjoy it in moderation, avoiding anything illegal, you'll be fine. Have fun.
Well, do you know that image of somebody over a Zimmer frame?
And
on the actual video.
And then it shows you.
Right, so do you know the actual video of that, right? On the video, it says amateur, mature. No, it's going for the name of porn. So amateur porn, mature porn, and that picture pops up for mature. So that was sponsored by NSPCC. I've asked NSPCC, what's amateur porn? If mature porn, you bent over a Zimmer frame. What is amateur porn?
I know. Oh my God.
You bent over a cot.
So to me, but it's like, think about all the children that just hit high school and that they also have mild learning difficulties and stuff. They're getting shown pictures. So what if they see an adult then hanging over a Zimmer frame? Do they think, they want to have sex with them or what?
Yeah,
because they're bent over a Zimmer frame, like, God forbid, a young boy on the spectrum somewhere or something that they can't quite process what they've been taught. And then you see an old person standing there and they think, they want to have sex with me.
John Swinney, constituency office in Blairgowrie, up here in Scotland. He had all these posters all over his constituency office advertising about this.
He's disgusting.
With the Zimmer frame and things and teaching kids sex. I have to say now they're bringing this in September. Last year, it was a woman from Paisley, Redfordshire, Scotland, contacted us, and she had this book that a kid was sent. And I seen this. And my God almighty, this was bad. Bad. Real bad. But they're teaching our kids.
Right, and that's what we know about, and that's our schools. My main concern is, so what's happening in like the residential schools and the care homes?
Yeah,
this is controlling, like what they're allowed to teach them and what they're not.
Yeah, because they even want to teach this to children in special schools.
Well, in Wales, our curriculum now, whereas they used to be separate before, in Wales, the private schools have to incorporate this as well. Same. Also, we're switching as well. So we got the Education Workforce Council, the teachers register with, but teachers of private schools don't have to register with them. The council, the Education Workforce Council, is cherry-picked by the Welsh Government. So
Scotland, see any private schools that the Scottish Government fund, they have to incorporate it.
Yes, that it's part funded, either maintained or by part.
Even if they just receive grants and stuff off the Scottish Government.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as what we've got here then.
Yeah, and also, something else you said there about it. Sandy said it has to be, it's in the Scottish Government documents, it's RSHP has to be taught to all schools, including schools with children with learning disabilities. So it's got to be even like schools with children with autistic, and RSHP is coming in there too.
They're introducing sex toys.
My kids.
Now,
sex toys, did you say that?
Sex toys, vibrators and things like that. Now, and this is in a classroom. Now, we do know children with additional needs are 4 times more likely to get abused. So, what are you playing at here? We're actually giving schools. There's a model of offending. It's called Finkelhall's 3 preconditions of offending, and there's 4 steps to it. And the last step of all, and is victim resistance. Right. So the first step is making sure everything's all right in your head. The second step is making sure the situation's all right. Do you know what I mean? And you overcome these things. But the schools assist the 4 preconditions of offending, which means when you look at every law, every policy in this country, every safeguarding thing, our safeguarding in the whole of the UK relies on the DBS and victim resistance. Victim resistance. Now, victim resistance can be this. That is enough, right? That can be enough to stop a child from being abused. So why the hell are we giving them adult-sized dildos to put condoms on at the age 11? We want them to go. We need that shock thing there. We shouldn't be desensitizing them. Do you know what I mean? So we're not even fighting for a change of laws or a change of policies or a change of system. We're just fighting for policies, for laws, for a system that doesn't exist.
It's just sickening, and it's scary. Like I said, is it scary to the fact of the abuse that goes on in Scotland's institutions? So that's unchecked in there. Are they using the paedophiles? And because there's massive paedophile rings without in Scotland, and all of them, still in them, even from Sandy's and Jane's Bean. Massive paedophile rings in the whole of Scotland's legal justice system. A lot of them, they're all involved. Are they spotting what children are vulnerable to be abused, or the care homes? Are they, for these questionnaires and stuff? Are they they to spot the children that are going to speak? If they're saying yes to them, but they've been in a care home, are they then, because they will silence their children, as Sandy knows?
Yeah, because even in yet, Mandy, we were silenced as kids about this. And even now, with the Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry, we had to give a full investigation. It went right into detail.
Right, guys, just now there's 2 minutes left to the end of the broadcast, okay?
Yeah, so we had to give this. Plus, we had to give a full statement to Police Scotland, and by God, they went into detail.
They were disgusting.
And the questions I was asked almost taught me. Jane's there as my witness.
It's re-traumatising.
And now, for us to qualify for the redress scheme, They did want us to go back through it again and give another statement. And I went mental with it. And thank God I've got the Quarriers Warriors behind me, because I was asking folk to support me in this and I didn't get it. And I am angry at it. But the Quarriers Warriors and our families, they stood by us and we put up such a fight against that was changed. We don't need to do it. So anyone who's given evidence to the Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry can be used for us to get the redress scheme. Plus, now we found a way that you can claim the Scottish Government redress scheme and also take the orphanage to court. This is what we are doing. We've got a brilliant lawyer on our side now.
Told you, Sandy, they haven't paid into it, right? So the redress scheme was set up with a deal with the Scottish Government and a law. Because they didn't pay into it, they've broken their side of the deal.
Yes.
So you can still, anybody that's taking the redress can still take them to court.
Yes.
But they've made a new law, a redress law 2021, so that when you do sign it, survivors can now go to jail for speaking about it after they've signed it.
Yeah.
So there's a law.
Right, guys, I'm going to have to end the broadcast now. It's okay, I'm just going to end the live, so you can still stay on and have a little chat. I just want to say to everyone, thank you very much, guys, for having us back. Don't forget, if you're close to Scotland, Glasgow, the 22nd of January is Mandy's event. We've got ours then the 22nd of February, Cardiff Castle and the Senedd. Then Sandy's coming down in April, and he's going to do one here as well, the 30th of April. So there's lots of dates. I should have actually had a list of Victoria, so I could have. What I'm going to do from now on, I'm going to get a list of everyone's events, like Victoria's doing, and I'm going to reel them off. So, Lou, are you going to say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, I'd just like to say lovely to meet you, Mandy. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person. And Sandy, lovely to see you. And I can't wait to meet you as well in person, because I haven't yet done that. And just thank you, Wake Up UK, as well, for having us back. And just love to you all.
And thanks to everyone in the chat, guys.
And just a wee quick word before you go. Since you are coming up to give my wee granddaughter, Mandy, your support, I'll wear my kilt that day. I'll put on the warrior. I'll put on the warrior gear. There you go.
Can you bring your William Wallace sword?
You don't see him throwing me.
I can't bring that to Glasgow. We get arrested, but I can bring a sword.
He swung me around George Square, right? I've never had a 30-year-old swing me around like that, alone a 70-year-old.
Brilliant.
You should have filmed. I should have worn make it up my camera out.
Some fat, right? I'll do it again.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Love and respect, though.